So I figured I'd make a relatively short video on how to model these. So we're not going to go through the rendering process because I used Keyshot, and a lot of Blender people don't seem to like that. They prefer cycles, but I'm just too lazy to set up cycles. So let's focus on the modeling aspect. And it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. So let's set up some stuff. Actually, that's all I need. And I'm trying out a new gizmo I found. Kind of nice. It's not perfect though, but does the job. Just had a couple of edge loops. Someone's gonna complain about my hotkeys though, so let's enable those. Even though I changed so many hotkeys, so a lot of what I press is not gonna make sense. Perfect. So it's really just a matter of making or giving this the shape that we're looking for, right? From an early stage, I guess. So I guess this is kind of working. And I have a hotkey to apply a subdivision modifier and then apply it instantly. So if you check here, there's no modifiers. Just bound it to Control D. I'm pretty sure it's called Armored Subdivide, and it's part of the Armored Toolkit, my free collection of scripts and stuff. And I think I also use the lattice. So I use my own lattice as well, simply because it's automatically resized to to the dimensions of the object. So it's really nice, but you can use the standard lattice and like parent it and whatever. I prefer mine. And then just give it some more shape. Hello, where's my gizmo? I guess it doesn't work on a lattice. It did say it's experimental, so I'm not going to finesse this too much. One thing I do want to do is just apply this lattice, because I'm not really going to do much. And now it is time for the Vitaly poke, which is also part of the Armored Toolkit. Again, you can do the normal route of just poking faces and then triangles to quads, but the problem with this method is that it doesn't give you an option that I really like. So Vitaly poke, there it is. And that is this little checkbox right here. So if you want to inset the triangles as well, just keep it on. If you don't, turn it off. So I really like having that. This occasion, let's just keep it off. And I believe, yeah, I have some like strips here, so let's just model those really quickly by doing that. We're not actually modeling them yet, we're just deselecting so we don't model them. Yeah, it's sort of like backwards, but I think next step is to just inset this as much as you want, then extrude once and twice. That might have been too deep actually, but actually I think that's just fine. That's perfect actually. And another thing we can do is this little panel line between the like whatever this color is, teal. I think that's teal, but the panel line around those different materials. So fairly easy, just select all of these faces and make sure to grab the triangles as well. Now this is an asymmetrical piece, which is why I'm not using the mirror modifier. Perfect. And I also hotkeyed turning my selection to the border, which is somewhere in here. Select loops, border loops, or boundary loops. So I'll do that, and then deselect this edge. And we are left with this. These are going to become our panel lines. All we have to do is press Control B for you. Double extrude in. There it is. That's all we need. It looks kind of bright now. That's because there's no like occlusion or anything, but once you render it out, then it'll appear darker. Or you can just make it even deeper, but just to demonstrate, I'm going to turn on cavity, and as you can see, it looks just fine. Whoops. I believe I also added something to the sides. So extrude cancel, and then scale Y. Right. Don't remember if I did anything else here. I don't know if I added a loop. I might have added a loop cut there. Don't really remember. Yeah, it does look kind of sharp, doesn't it? I don't remember. Let's actually switch to... Oh, you know what that is? That's my my cavity. No, wait, but there's no cavity in Keisha. Who knows? I think it's just a loop cut. Okay, and I also added something at the tips. So I selected this, and then I did the same thing near the bottom. So just extrude and scale Z. And let's also scale using individual origins. Scale Y. No, wait, let's set it back. And when we subdivide, it looks like that. Very subtle. Or as subtle as you want. So I also added some details at the back. You can't really see them in the render very well because I didn't spend too much time lighting this properly. I just used an HDR and keyshot. But there is some detail there. And that is symmetrical, so I really want to use some mirrors. But the problem is the front is asymmetrical. So the solution to this is to simply split it. So I'm just going to go here to the middle, select all that, make sure it goes all the way around, press V, and then right click to cancel the move operation. But if I just hover over this section and press L, you can see that they're actually separate pieces. They're still in one object though, so I could use my extract script, but just in case, P, separate, and then go to this one, edit mode. There we go. So separate objects now. And now that it's split, it's safe to just add some mirrors. And let's move it above our subdivision modifier. And I believe this is Y and Z. Let's just test it out. Oh, bisect as well. Okay, this is negative Y. There it is. Perfect. All I did then was, I believe I just... Oh, I have a really cool paint select script. So when I press Q, it switches to the drag select, right? So if I'm using any gizmo, I can just press Q and go back to drag select. But it's actually a special script. It does more than that. If you hold down Q, you can paint select. So that one's also part of the Armor Toolkit. I forget what it's called. I think it's this one. Oh yeah, look. Oh, it's experimental. Yeah, it's never gonna stop being experimental. Anyway, like I said, just hold down Q. Woo! It only works for edit mesh mode. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, selecting these. Wait, what am I doing? Yeah, I have a mirror. I don't need to select the entire thing, but that's fine. I have a hotkey for selecting the border, and then select these edges, and I don't have to go all the way down because we have a mirror, but it's usually a good idea to go beyond the center point. Alright, let's just zoom in so you can see this. B to bevel. Actually for you that's Control B, but I'm using my fast bevel script. And then just extrude cancel, Alt S, extrude cancel, Alt S again. Some of these edges look a little weird, but we'll be fine. Yeah, if you want to, you could just select these, press G twice, and just move them upwards, just so they're not as tight. So you could do the same thing with these. I figure that it's mirrored. Double G, just do that. And do whatever you want to this thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. And what else did I do? I believe I selected this. Go beyond the center point. Inset. And yeah, Alt S. And just to give it some variety, we're gonna select that edge loop, double G, move this over here. That might be too much. Okay, add a couple of edge loops. Nice. We can even, I'm trying to remember exactly what I did. Yeah, add some screw holes in here. Like, this should look okay because it's kind of tiny, but just in case it bothers you, you can just use loop tools, circle. And you could try to rotate this or use set this to normals, where is this, and then try to rotate it on the z-axis, but honestly it just doesn't matter. Just forget about that, scale it down, then extrude inwards, grow our selection, and I'm just going to use my fast bevel, so B, and then B again. That's it, that's fast bevel. It's another script, fast bevel. Wait, what? It's not? Oh, it only shows up in the current context, so I was in object mode. If you're in edit mode, then you can keybind it. So it's really nice that it saves you the trouble from pressing Shift B, whatever. I don't even know what you have to press. Control B for beveling edges, Control Shift B for vertices, yeah. It just combines them and it does other stuff. Oh, we also have some detail here in the center, right? Yeah. Don't remember exactly how I made those, but I think I just selected a bunch of faces here. And then, as usual, it's all just inset and extrusions. Let's make it super thin. And as I recall, sliding this doesn't work with double G, so we're just gonna eyeball it. I don't know if I mentioned this before in this video, but this is just like a gizmo I sort of bought. Apparently it's experimental, and I can attest to that. Some things don't work perfectly, but it's growing on me. Kind of nice. Reminds me a lot of Maya, for reasons we're not going to go into right now. Alright. Well, I'll mention one thing. You can shift extrude, which is kind of nice. Oh, but like I said, experimental. Why is it set to normal? Oh, there we go. Yeah. As I said, you can shift extrude. Okay, so let's just extrude normally though, because we can do that in Blender. That's okay. So we're almost there. Oh yeah, there's a little gap. And I added that. How did I add that? I think I just added an edge loop and beveled it. And by default, my fast bevel isn't using loop slide, so let's turn that back on. And we can fill in this little gap by just selecting all of these faces and pressing F, but in my case it's Alt F, and simply reconnecting some of these vertices. I'm using Shift C for that, for my connect script. By default, I think you can use J, unless you have Curve Basher installed, and J is Curve Basher. Sorry about that. Alright, so just add some edge loops, and we can actually slide this down so that we don't need an edge loop. Oh my god, what? That would... And everything subdivides just fine. We can actually switch to wait, I'm already using it. Okay. Yeah, I'm using like a blend type matte cap that I got from Maya. Looks nice. Subdivides all right. And let's add a bend deformer. Wait, let's add it to the front piece first. Make sure we pick the right axis. And to copy it to the other one, I think we just drag select and copy to selected. Hey, there we go, because they're still separate pieces that I haven't merged. You can merge them. I think I didn't, because I really liked having the mirror modifier at the back. Okay, and finally, there is a way of drawing curves. I added it right here with the Curve Basher add-on, so it's like more accessible, but if you don't have that, you can just create a curve, go into edit mode, and then you have a bunch of draw curve tools. But let's get rid of this and find the draw curve, and then just draw it right here. Whoop. And I'm also going to switch this to tweak so I don't have to drag select these points. And you might want to select all of them, right click, set handle type automatic. That helps. So as you can see, if I bend it over here, the handle is still changing with the curve, keeping things smooth. Except for this one's bending that way. And all we need now is a profile for that curve. So I'm going to create that with a plane. At least that's what I did. Wait, we don't need this side. Perfect. Then just add and cut here, scale this down. I did something like that. I don't remember the exact profile I made. Doesn't really matter, just right click, convert to curve, and now we can apply this to that curve. So just go to your curve settings, geometry, object, and then pick your curve. And you can scale the profile right here, but you'll notice that you can't rotate it. So if you want to rotate it, you do need to go into edit mode. And now you see it applies to the curve. Or you can edit the curve points directly. So let me shade flat first. So go into the curves edit mode, and you can rotate curve points, Control T. Woo! Or Alt S for the scale. But like I mentioned before, for the scale, you can just scale this. That works just fine. Scale it even smaller. Control T. You do need to do Control T in like a circular motion, like a clock. It's not sideways or up and down. It's circular. It does mess up your rotation sometimes though. And in the final render, I did duplicate this curve, and it's hard to see, but I made a smaller one inside that has like a hard plastic material. And the larger curve on the outside, it just has glass, and looks kind of neat. So just to replicate that, Shift D, right click, go into edit mode, select all the points, and I'm going to go into wireframe just so you can see that if I press Alt S, there's actually a smaller curve inside. Woo! And all you have to do is just give the outermost curve a transparent material, and the inner whatever you want. Another cool thing we can do just to make it more interesting is go into the outer curve, edit mode, select this point, Alt S, and make it wider so it becomes thinner. Alt S, by the way, not just S. S doesn't, it scales the control points, not the radius. So Alt S, don't forget. And I guess while we're here, if you ever do this to a curve, you'll notice how this transition is a little sharp. So to fix that, you can just select all the curve points, right click, smooth curve radius. And that like smooths everything out perfectly, as the name would imply. And of course, do the same thing at the bottom. I'm not really going to do it because it's exactly the same thing. All you have to do then is just duplicate just put them all in one collection. Duplicate them or array them or use a collection instance, whatever you want. But oh wait, one more thing before, we're not finished yet. You have seen me do this pattern before though. Basically, you just add a loop cut, and it makes these circle shapes more round. You could add 2 loop cuts if you want. Like that's, it look really, really square now. I usually just add 1. And another cool trick I like to do is just select one edge, go over to the other end, select the shortest route, then press, wait, there is no hotkey for edge ring, but I bound a select edge ring somewhere in here to Alt-R, and then I use my connect script, so Shift-C. You don't actually need to use my script for if you have an edge ring. All you have to do is just Alt-R, and I think you can subdivide as well. Except I don't like doing that because, as you can see, Blender's default subdivide selects everything instead of just the curve. I prefer just having the new geometry in case you want to do other stuff. So that's why I use my own custom script for that, so I can control what's selected afterwards. So just to demonstrate, if you're not explaining, it's a lot faster. So just do this, this. But of course, you can still just add 1 at a time, that's fine. Whoa! There we go. That looks nice. Like I said, you can just create a few duplicates and, render it out. And I never really just make a render and leave it like that. I always do a little bit of post. Some exposure or contrast. As you can see, I over brightened this image, but I really liked how it looked, so I left it like that. And that's essentially it.